Hi, and welcome to Focus on Health. I'm Jay Cohen from the Winstead YMCA, part of the Northwest Connecticut Y, and we're happy to have you with us today. As we do each episode, we're talking to individuals and organizations and initiatives that are doing great things for the community health and trying to get people into healthier lifestyles and behaviors. And tonight we've got a great guest representing a wonderful initiative here in town. We've got Patrick Barrett, who's the chair of the steering committee for the Winstead Farmers Market. So we're going to find out all about our local farmers market and maybe about the national trend and see how we can make best use of this great resource in town. So Patrick, thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Jay. I'm glad to be here.
So how long has Winstead had a farmers market?
Well, this particular farmers market is going into its third season. We started it back in the spring of 2011. I understand that there was a farmers market previously, but that was before my time back in town, but I'm not sure whatever happened with that.
Yeah. And so it's only the third year. Mm-hmm. Did you see a huge growth going even from the first year to the second year?
Not huge, but gradual and steady.
Yeah. Okay.
We were very encouraged after the first year by the turnout of people and the interest of vendors, and then again, equal growth, I would say, from second to this year, the third year.
All right. Now, for those people who are maybe completely unfamiliar with a farmer's market, how would you define a farmer's market?
Well, in the simplest terms, it's essentially a group of local farmers that get together on some regular basis. In our case, it's weekly during the summer, to sell their products directly to the consumers. And
do you tend to get a wide variety of products?
It's fairly wide. We focus mostly on locally grown produce, mm-hmm. But we've got a meat vendor and a bakery, so we sort of try to run the range of foodstuffs that are produced locally as much as we can.
So you could probably come and get all the ingredients for your dinner there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. And so now, what is the season for the farmers market here in town?
We start June 28th, which is a Friday, and we run Fridays each week until September 13th,
okay.
3 to 6 p.m. So it's sort of late enough in the afternoon for people getting off of work and not too early. So,
yeah. Now, obviously, they're selling things that are in season, and even throughout that 3-month, 4-month period, different mm-hmm. products come in and out of season. So do you see a lot of change throughout the summer and what's offered?
Yeah, absolutely. We have, they're the basics. Everyone's looking for corn and tomatoes, and those are, the farmers get those there as soon as they can and keep them as long as they can. But then in the meantime, as things come in season, zucchini and other squashes and potatoes, onions, things like that, as they're ready, they bring them to the market. So
are there some items that are like the stars of the farm market that everyone's looking to get?
Well, as I say, corn and tomatoes for sure are the popular items. Everyone wants those.
And are there multiple vendors selling the same product? Like, are there a couple different corn vendors to choose from?
We do have some overlap. We've got 2 vegetable farms that have somewhat overlapping products. Corn for sure and tomatoes as well overlap.
Excellent. So now you mentioned there's a meat vendor.
Yep.
Can you actually get particular cuts that you're looking for? Or?
Yeah, you can. They bring, they don't have everything every time, sure. But they bring a selection of frozen meat that they produce actually right here in town. They have a farm right over on the edge of town. And so they bring a cooler or 2 filled with what they've got, and I think they pretty much sell out each week. So,
wow. Can you actually make requests for future weeks?
Yeah, I think if they have it, if they have it available, I think they'll bring you what you want the next week.
Now, do you get to do a lot of taste testing? So can people come and sample some of the ware as well?
Well, not yet. We are actually working on getting everything in line to do some food demonstrations, cooking demonstrations, and showing people how to work with maybe ingredients that they might not be familiar with. But we're not quite there yet. But hopefully this year we'll be able to introduce that.
Excellent. So what prompted this resurgence in the farmers market in town? What got you involved?
Well, about 2.5 years ago, my wife and I moved back to the area. Well, I moved back to the area and brought her with me. and I have a lot of family in the area, and so we had some friends as well locally, and a couple of people that I know were talking about getting a farmers market started, and I thought that's something that I'm definitely interested in getting involved in, and we just sat down, the three of us, and hammered out a general structure for the organization, and got a lot of support from the town, from the Board of Selectmen and the rec department, and made it happen in 2011. So.
Excellent. Now, were there any particular hurdles that you had to work through?
Well, sort of. We had to deal with, well, first of all, where the market was going to be. And, we talked about having it on private property and renting some space. A lot of markets do that, or on the town property. And what we found was, we talked to the town manager at the time, and he suggested that we have it on town property and establish ourselves essentially as an event within the recreation department. And that solved a lot of insurance issues. It solved a lot of our ability to be on town land. We still have to get approval. There's an ordinance that's been on the books for years called the Peddler's Ordinance, and it essentially restricts people making sales on town property. And it was, I think, designed so that you couldn't set up a table outside of a hat store and sell hats at a lower price than the store. So they have to waive that ordinance each year to allow us to sell on the town green. But not huge hurdles. Everyone was very supportive, and we got a lot of help. So
now you hear about farmers markets popping up all over the country. So what do you think is fueling this resurgence?
That's a good question. I think that a lot of people are thinking more about where their food comes from. There's a lot of, you over the last decade or more, you've started to see various sources of fruits and vegetables at the supermarket, product of this country, product of that country. And I think people just started to realize that food that has to be transported that long may not get to them as fresh and as nutritious as they would like. And I think the other factor is that people are looking inward and sort of looking to their local community, and very interested in supporting local businesses like a farmer that they may know. Maybe they grew up with him or something like that, and he's there working hard producing food, and it makes it a lot easier to make a living that way if you have local support.
And have you, it sounds like it's been easy to get customers, to the markets. Has it been as easy getting vendors involved?
Well, interestingly, it's been a bit of a challenge, and we're happy with that, because the reason is that there are many farmers markets popping up. So we've contacted a lot of vendors that would love to have participated, but they can't because they're already committed to another market or something like that. So it's a happy reason why we weren't able to get more vendors at each market.
Now, I understand you're working on the possibility of I guess what you call backyard farmers.
Right.
What's that all about?
There is, at the Norfolk Farmers Market, we understand there's a table that allows a local gardener to bring, whatever they happen to have, extra zucchini or tomatoes or corn or something like that. And we'd really like to integrate that as well. It, I think, could help to expand the offerings at the market. It helped to get more people involved. Certainly, if there's a different backyard vendor or more than one at each week's market, it definitely broadens the appeal to people to get involved.
Sure. Now, one of the another, I think it's a national initiative. It's part of the SNAP program, the food stamp program.
Right.
A lot of people are looking at what foods people getting these funds can purchase.
Right.
Obviously you can go to the stores and buy all the junk, but I know there are a lot of initiatives to be able to take those funds and bring them to things like food markets so they can get the local fresh foods. Is that something they're able to do here in town?
We can accept, some of our farmers can accept some federal and state benefits. What we're working on right now is being able to accept the EBT benefits, which is the the benefit that comes on essentially a credit card,
Sure.
you know, with funds transferred electronically. And the only sticking point there is the device to scan the cards is quite expensive. So we're looking through some state and federal agencies to try to sort of get some support and be able to acquire one of those machines. And hopefully, if all goes well, we may have that up and running this year.
Excellent. I know there are a lot of new applications and devices that you can actually attach to a phone
Yes.
and process the credit card right there.
Right, and unfortunately, EBT benefits can't be transferred that way yet.
Okay.
I've inquired about that because, I was aware of some of those apps on the phone, and we're going to recommend to our vendors this year that if their representatives or they at the market have the ability to take funds that way, it's much more convenient for people, you know, with federal assistance or not, to be able to pay with a credit card. And I think
absolutely.
it would, you know, really, if people forgot to bring cash or whatever, they can still get their vegetables. So,
Excellent. And so what are some of your visions for the future, you know, beyond taking the, you know, the credit cards for
right,
the
right.
market?
Well, there's that, as I said. We'd like to get the community table, as you mentioned, food demonstrations, as we talked about, and beyond that, we'd certainly like to grow the market. We don't want to grow too fast because we don't want it to be, you know, unsustainable. But we'd like to get some more vendors, different types of vendors. And one fun project that we're working on is what I call the Community Recipe Project, and it's basically we like to have printouts of recipes on an information table at each market so that people can take a copy home and try a recipe. And I thought, and several of us thought, that it would be fun if a lot of those recipes came from the community, from Winsted residents. And so we have started to reach out to people to try to collect some recipes and have those available. So, you know, recipes from your neighbors, essentially. And if we get enough, maybe we can, you know, fold them together in a little Winsted cookbook, Winsted Farmers Market cookbook or something like that. And
Excellent. Yeah, because I would imagine, even though everything's local, there's probably some produce, you know, vegetables and fruit that people aren't familiar with, or you know, either haven't tried or haven't heard of, or just don't know what to do with it. So to have that kind of step by step, here are some suggestions.
Exactly.
I could see that being helpful.
Yep.
Now, do you find that you know, a lot of the local farmers see this as a good you know, add on to their revenue stream, or do they see it more as a good community service?
No, I think they definitely see it as a good add-on. You know, a lot of farms are getting into the community-supported agriculture, where people pay up front for a share, essentially.
Sure.
They're really finding different ways to sell their products locally to the community, because I think, you know, it allows their overhead to be reduced somewhat, you know, when they're